Welcome back to another live on location with Bowen and Mimi. I'd like to first take a moment to just acknowledge that we are on the ancestral unceded lands of the Silks Okanagan people. And today we are here in Vernon with Silmara Emde. And Silmara is originally from Brazil, born and raised, and worked as a graphic designer before moving to Canada in her early 30s to do a bit of adventuring. Ended up in Vancouver for a while, met her husband, went to photography school, had a son. I'm not sure about the order of all that, but we're going to get to it. But 14 years ago, moved to Vernon and with her family. And she's been busy balancing her family life, her artistic pursuits, and recently was also featured at Gallery Vertigo, having an artist exhibition. So thank you very much for having us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming. This is nice.
It is nice. It's a great way to spend the afternoon.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I just would love to hear first if we could start back in Brazil, because it's a cold winter day in Vernon. And we were talking about snowshoeing and going up the mountain, but I just would love to spend the first, few moments maybe revisiting your time as a young artist in Brazil.
Yeah, so I grew up in São Paulo, which is a big city. And since a child, I was very creative, imaginative. I like to do things with my hands. So I was very artistic, but nobody in my family really know that. It was not something that I didn't grow up in an artistic family, although I discovered later that, there is lots of creativity going on. But it was something that, oh yeah, Silmara is creative, and then I never thought about being an artist or anything. All I wanted was to play with paper. I loved paper. And
can I ask, what was it that drew you to paper?
I don't know. Like, I like the labels. I like the colors. I like the texture. I don't know why I used to play that I was in a bank, but all that I wanted was to collect paper.
Okay, yeah.
I think the paper was more important than the money. So that was my way to play with paper and play as I was in a bank.
Yeah.
So when I was just about to go to college, I had no idea what I was going to do. I was totally lost. And then there was one day I remember so well that I was in a group of friends. And in Brazil, you do a test. You choose the college you want and you do a test for each one. And when you pass, you go to that university. So I was just going to do business because I didn't know what to do. And then I was talking to some friends, and there was this girl, didn't know her, but she was talking about the course that she had just started, and she was, oh, because we go and do wood stuff, and we go and do this and that. And I said, what is that? Yeah. And she said, oh, this is graphic design. And I said, that's what I want. Amazing. And then it came to me, and at that moment it was so clear that this is what I want to do. This is the course. I found it. And then I applied for that, and I got into university, and it was fantastic. It was just a new universe to me. I met so many different people. I expand my universe in a way that I had no idea that those things existed, because I grew up in a very simple family. A family, we were very we did our stuff, and we were happy family.
Yeah.
Doing our little things.
Yeah.
And then that just changed my life, and it was really good. It was really good for me, and I really felt at the beginning. I remember feeling very out of place because everything was so new to me, and there were people there that knew what they were doing. There were people there that were working in the field already. And for me, everything was new, absolutely new. But I graduated, and I worked as a graphic designer for 15 years, 20 years, I don't know. I had my own studio, so things were going pretty well. I was established as a graphic designer.
Yeah, when you say you
Um,
had your own studio, so you opened your own business as a graphic
It was,
designer, or
yeah, I worked from
Yeah.
home. Didn't
Okay,
have
yeah. You had
a
your own clients,
location.
and
Yeah, but I had my business number and I had clients, and it was pretty awesome. So that gave me the opportunity to come to Canada because I could come and not quit anything. I just could come because I was working from home, so I could work from anywhere.
okay, so the intention was not to just leave Brazil and your
No.
business and to come. It was just to take a break and have a taste of something different.
Yeah, and I was a little tired of working in the computer. It was graphic design is very creative, but it's always making something for somebody else. I was getting tired, so yeah. Then I came to Canada. The idea was to stay 1 year and do the photography course. I thought, okay, at least if when I come back to Brazil, I have something else. I have something new to explore. But then I never went back.
Right. I did read about the soul searching photography service,
Yeah.
and that really piqued my interest. So maybe you could share a bit about that.
Yeah. So that was a product that I created because I think the aspect that I most enjoy in photography is to connect with people.
Mm.
And I see that there is an aspect of being photographed that it's very tender. It's very vulnerable, and I was exploring that in myself, like doing self-portraits, um, and I wanted to do photography for this connection, for this. I wanted to bring up something else rather than just posing, family
Yes.
photos or posed.
So
It's
what
fine,
kind of
but
yeah.
I want for the person to see something else. Like when you look at yourself and you can have a sense of who you are and have kindness towards yourself through that image, because we are so harsh on ourselves, right? We look at a photo of ourselves, we're like, this and that, my nose, my hair, and I could only see beauty in every person that I photographed. I only see beauty, and for me it's a very intimate process because I take the photos and then I go home and I process the photos, not doing like skin, but I spend quite a lot of time dealing with those photos, and I look at that person quite a lot, and I can only see beauty. Everyone is so beautiful in different ways. So that's what I wanted to bring a little bit more. I wanted that the experience of the photo session was something more profound, more connected to yourself.
Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering how you go about creating such a sense of trust with that person in, I imagine, a short amount of time to really capture the essence and what they might be going through in your images.
I think it's I don't know, I think it's one of my superpowers.
I think you're right. Yes, I totally agree.
No, there is nothing that I do.
Oh, I want to stitch you a cape. And also the way you speak about just seeing beauty and joy in everything. And I think that is something that emanates from you. And when I first met you, I felt that heart connection from you. So I really appreciate that, you inject that into your work.
Yeah.
And it's important to you, and it adds a lot of meaning.
Yeah. And it's good for me. It's like this, when you connect to someone, you are also connected to yourself. There is something there that it's not only the person that is being photographed that is going for something interesting. It's me too. Mm-hmm. So it's a reflection. We are all kind of reflections of each other, right? Mm-hmm. in life. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I created that thing, because I wanted to do something more than just take
more meaningful,
beautiful pictures.
Mm-hmm.
There is a point that I realized that I used to make this analogy that moving to a new country, to a new place, to a place that is totally new for you, is like you arrive like naked. You have nothing. You were just like plain. And that's so liberating, but at the same time, it's not easy because we are so used to identify ourselves with all our stuff, right? All our history, the school you went to, the neighborhood you live, the family you come from, your culture, the things you own. And none of those things are us, right? Nothing. This is just like, I don't know, things around us. But what it is that it's you that it doesn't need anything. It doesn't need anything. And that's what I discovered. That was my process of, going back home. Which home? Myself, my heart. And the heart doesn't need anything, doesn't need any stuff or absolutely nothing. It's just you. So you come naked to discover that all the power it's already there. I got married in Vernon 12 years ago.
Okay.
And at that time I turned to Kurt and said, we're not moving here ever, okay?
Right.
Said, no,
never say never.
And then one day I was in Vancouver. We're thinking like during the pandemic, like we realized that there's nothing that would hold us in Vancouver. Like we didn't have family there. I didn't have a job because I was raising a small child. His job was not great. He was not happy. We were paying a lot of money in rent. Like we quite enjoyed being there. We had friends and we were in a nice neighborhood, but there was actually nothing holding us there. And then one day I woke up and said, why don't we move to Vernon? This idea came to my mind and I was talking to myself, no way. And the next day, why don't you move to Vernon? So the idea kept coming to me. And then I told Kurt, so I'm having this crazy thought. I'm thinking, why don't you move to Vernon?
Oh, yeah.
And then, I think 2 months after this thought, we were in Vernon.
It happened. Yeah.
It was so quick. And then we came and we stayed with his dad until we could, because we didn't have jobs, we didn't have anything. We sold most of their stuff and we put, we got a truck and put everything in the truck. And we came with no
plan.
We're going to figure out.
Yeah.
We're going to figure out. So we had this plan of staying with his dad for as long as it took for us to, figure out. And that was great. That was awesome. Working at the Arts Center, I've been working at the Arts Center for 4 years now, gave me the exposure to so many different things. I take classes, I see people's work, and I talk to people, artists, and that's when I started to really putting energy in, working with my hands. And when I start putting energy in that, things like, okay, there's so much for me to do. There is, some things are just coming out of my hands.
Beautiful. They're everywhere. This room is filled with some of them.
And I love it. It's, it's just a different mindset, different way to work with my body, to put my ideas in place. And for me, it's very, very experimental because I don't really know much what I'm doing. I'm taking courses, I'm learning techniques, but it doesn't matter much to me. I just want to make stuff. So I just make stuff. And I play with and I have fun and I experiment and I like that. Sometimes I don't even want to learn much. I just want to try. And that's what I do. I've been playing with, trying it, and I feel that there's so much more for me to to do.
And it sounds
to
like you
make.
have, yeah, it sounds like you have a good balance now. Like I'm thinking back to when you were a graphic designer in Brazil and that became work and you were always working in graphic design. So if you're working at the art center, you could run into that, I suppose, where you're there to work, but you don't have time to play. But it sounds like you're taking courses and you're actually finding that time.
Yeah, now I have the way that my life is structured is, I have part-time jobs, and then I have time with my son and all that comes with, right? I have to take care of the food and I have to go do grocery shopping and take care of the kid. And I make sure to take time to make art. So I made a commitment to myself that I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna, keep. I don't watch TV. I don't do many things that take. I don't use social media. So after dinner, I come to my studio and I play.
Wow. Yeah, that's important to mention, though. You're not doing social media. You're staying off of that so that you do have that time.
Yes.
You were able to put together a body of work that you could exhibit at Gallery Vertigo.
Yeah.
So can you share a bit about how that came together?
Yes. So I know I've been playing and making stuff for some time. And I never, I have the imposter syndrome. And I have the, this is not good enough. I'm working on that. But, I never, just playing. It's no big thing. I have this in my mind. And then one day I was at Gallery Vertigo and I was looking around and I see the members wall and I was just inquiring, how does it work? And then the person who was there, very kind, was explaining, and I said, okay, maybe in 2 years I can do that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe one day. And she said, why don't you put your name down? I said, no, I'm not ready. I don't have anything. She said, just put your name down.
Yeah.
She was like,
very encouraging.
And then I said, okay. And then I panicked a little bit and just to start making stuff. And
did you have an idea of what you wanted to do, or just, again, you played with things, your hands made stuff, and all of a sudden you had it?
Yeah, I didn't have any idea. It was very, I had a bunch of loose things, and I thought, okay, maybe I should work on a theme, find something, and then it was just creating me stress because it was so much in my mind, so much up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I thought, okay, this is not going to work. I just need to start making something.
Yeah.
So then I started painting, and then, a few months later, I started seeing a thread between the pieces. I could, there was like a glimpse of, I think there is something here. I think there is my voice here. I don't know how it sounds. I don't know what it is, but I see there is something emerging. So, when I let go of what should I do, what I'm going to do, planning, things just start to emerge. And I think, it's very, for me, it's still very tender, very vulnerable, very new. This voice that is coming, but I see there is a voice, there is something there. And when I put all the pieces together, like the paintings, the collages, the clay pieces, I could see there is something there.
This time with you has been really inspiring and healing, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share your stories
thank you, Michelle.
and share your art. And
Yes.
I hope it's the beginning of more conversations.
Me too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks to Bowen behind the camera, and we'll see everyone another time.